Welcome back to the Guapify podcast. I am very excited for our convo today. We are talking money and marriage. So, there's tension, assumptions, credit scores, a little pride, lots of growth. And then there's a chemistry, the connection. I think we're building something energy. But if we're being really honest, money will test your relationship way more than romance ever will. So today is not about financial advice. It's actually about lived experience. We will get unfiltered and honest. We'll also share how CJ and I met. So yes, NBC Storytime coming up. And for fun, we'll be reacting to some trending social media clips about money and dating because the internet has opinions and it is loud. So stay tuned for the show. It's going to be good. Before we get into all things Guapify, become a part of the money conversation. Join our Mighty Guap community with like-minded folks who are financially focused. We're gonna have money experts, challenges, courses, everything you need to feel equipped, and we can't wait to see you in the community. CJ, welcome back to the Guapify podcast. It is so lovely to have you back on with us. Founder, CEO, guru of all things Guapify. I see you in your green. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm starting to get used to this, I think.
I think that you were made for this, and I enjoy interviewing you. In fact, I'm excited to talk about how we met because we teased that last time, and I think it's a good story. I want to see actually how much you remember.
Oh, God.
Because
okay.
I feel like you don't even remember why we connected. So just for context, you and I both worked at NBC Universal.
Okay.
We connected in 2000 and...
My guess was 15, but you said that's not correct.
It was 2018. It was at a holiday party. I think I was looking fly and you were chilling to the side. I have no idea why we started talking. It's probably because we were two Black people in a predominantly, non-Black space. And you asked me something about who I was. I don't even know what it was, but somehow we talked about the business you were working on.
Yeah.
And do you recall what that brainchild, that creative brainchild was?
Yes, urban anime.
Urban anime.
Yeah.
Those were the emojis that you created yourself, I think,
I did.
Full design?
I did. Multicultural emoji app. We were in the App Store. We were in Google Play. It was a big deal. I knew nothing about creating an app, and I was able to figure it out and, get this thing running, and didn't know how to scale it and how to create social media content for it. And I saw this young lady at this party, and the next thing I know, you became my social media manager.
We were truly on our Bronx hustle flow, if I think about it. I think we're entrepreneurial. We both are from the Bronx in our background. But I remember you mentioning that was a problem you were trying to solve for. I like a problem and I like to offer a solution. And I had a background in social media management. So you actually set up time for us to go to dinner and talk business. So you were really down to earth. But when it came to business, you were very clear. And you know me, I was a true New Yorker. So I was like, baby, I'll play both sides. All right. You want to be cool and you want to talk money. Let's have a conversation on how to scale your social media, because that was something I felt like I understood just by being savvy on social media, a true storyteller, and I understood that you wanted to do that with urban anime. So when we discussed what business would look like, what your goals were, you really gave me a plan of, this is what I need. Send me back all your credentials, your vision for your social media strategy. And then did you give me the price or did I set my price?
I probably gave it to you.
Do you remember how much you paid me?
If I have to guess, it was probably $300 a month.
I think you nailed it. And let me tell you, I was happy to earn that. I've always had a full-time gig and then something on the side. And I remember in that season, I was like, I really need a little extra to keep me going. I will not mention how little I was making, but it was not a lot. So your $300 was very helpful to me, but the experience and even the opportunity to just like have follow through and measure the success, because I promised you a lot, was really powerful to where I am today. I actually have, social media manager on my resume. And I would love to hear, what was your experience working with me, paying me, trying to scale a business, taking a chance on someone you didn't know?
I actually thought you were amazing. I thought you were smart and you understood the culture and you were plugged into what was happening in the streets. I couldn't have picked a better person to help me sort of build this brand. And the thing that I really loved was that you got us a pretty high-level deal offered. We didn't take the deal, but it was because of you and your tenacity that we were even offered this deal from a very major Hollywood player at the time. And the interesting thing is, this Hollywood player wanted 75% of the company.
That's a whole conversation. It feels very Shark Tank, and we might have to make that a different segment, because how do you actually, you have this creative idea, you have this business that's not a nonprofit, you want it to be for profit, but you're not profiting, right? And you're looking for an opportunity to scale your business, you want visibility, and then an opportunity comes and you're asked to essentially give 75% of control.
It's like giving away the farm, It's something that you created from scratch, but they say nothing from nothing leaves nothing, right? But
you with nothing.
I was wrestling with it, right? Do I want to sell 75% of this company and only have 25%? And it just didn't sit right with me.
Right.
It just didn't.
From a conviction standpoint.
Yeah, because I worked too hard to build it, and it felt like I was giving it away.
And it wasn't just about the check, because you could say well, I wasn't getting any. Were you really making revenue?
No.
So we weren't getting revenue.
Nothing.
So someone else might say why did you not take it? But I think there's something to be said about your values when you are birthing a business, and it's not always about the money. And who knows, maybe urban anime comes back around. We use ChatGPT or Claude or something to figure out how to actually scale it.
It's funny you should say that, because I was looking at somebody's post the other day, a friend of mine, and somebody posted the fax emoji. And this was
So the urban anime emoji, there was one. What was her name? I forgot the name of that particular emoji.
I think that was Dominique.
They all had very cool names, very urban. Dominique. And she would say fax. So the way it worked is that if you're texting with a friend, the same way you would go to your keyboard and select the emojis that are already presetted on your Apple or Android, you would have the urban anime emoji keyboard, and you would select the one that aligns with the conversation. So you would select Dominique, who's cute and fly, and she would say fax,
Exactly.
And it was, that was kind of what was trending back then.
Yeah.
I guess now would be clock it,
And I would have one of them saying clock it.
Right,
Because we were always up on whatever the lingo was. It was a very sort of
it was on trend.
Timely.
Yeah, and you did this before folks were coding on AI.
2013, girl.
You were literally all right, one way or another, I'm going to figure out how to make it work.
Yeah.
Which I think is just such a powerful story and proves that you truly are entrepreneurial. But this conversation around how do I actually monetize these creative ideas and build wealth from it?
Right.
It's not one size fit all. And I think it's really honest for you to share that while that didn't land, there was really opportunity, and you and I coming together and complementing each other and our talents and our creative efforts, we really did see tremendous growth. Your account went from 80 followers to 500 plus, and we had celebrities liking it, and
Gabrielle
influencers,
Union,
reposting it.
Something.
Yeah, so it was great, and I think we're talking about money and relationships and friendships, but next up I want to talk about money and marriage, because that's where it gets really sticky. And I know you've been married before, so we'll get your words of wisdom. So I'm excited to talk about that after the break.
We all know what it's like to feel alone. But it just takes one new connection. Want to get out of here? to empower many.
This is unbelievable.
It doesn't take a superhero to bring forces together. We all have the power to reach out
Let's go.
and help someone feel like they belong.
Pretty cool, huh?
We are stronger together.
Okay, welcome back. So, CJ, as you can see, I have a ring on my finger.
Ding, 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 ding.
Your girl has been married for 6 years. Wow. In January, my husband and I made 6 years. Shout out to Rodney.
You know what happens on the 7th year, right?
The 7-year itch is what they call
Yeah,
it.
girl, get ready.
Or my ring could just get upgraded and we can make it last forever. So yeah, we have 2 small children and we live in a high cost of living area. Ain't nobody getting divorced, okay? So.
Okay, it's cheaper to keep them.
Exactly. And lucky for me, I'm in love. So there you go, 2 for 2. But, and this is not coming for you, just, was looking at your fingers and your
What?
gloves. I don't see a ring, but I know that you were married before, were you not?
I have been married before.
Okay, the lie detector. No, I'm kidding. You told the truth. And I'm curious, as someone who has been married, you are a homeowner, you do have a child, an adult child. How was, we're not even going to talk about like post, being married, divorce, but like when you were married, what was money like in your relationship? I don't know if you two were very compatible with your stewardship, if everything was separate, if you both had big goals. Like, give me a little color illustration or some tea.
The thing about marriage is that people don't realize that it's a business. And you don't realize it's a business until you try to get out of it. I'm just saying.
Ouch.
Yikes. Someone said that if you wouldn't go into business with somebody, why would you marry them? And you kind of have to think about that,
What's love got to do with it?
Well, I mean, love is secondary to whether or not we are going to build together, because that's why you're married, right? You're combining what you have with what someone else has, and let's bring this thing together and let's try to build. So not everybody goes into it for the right reasons. A lot of women look at marriage as transactional.
This is true.
I mean, you're pointing to your ring. Some women are like, push gifts.
Right.
Did you guys do push gifts when you were?
When I was pregnant?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I didn't even know that was a thing. I wouldn't have been mad at it, but like, that's not really like my love language or even value system.
That's a good point.
Right? But I'm okay with that. I think it's a problem when you're going into debt to do that. And so what I'm hearing you say is that having values that are congruent are really important. But people change. And people have habits you don't know about. So that's why I asked you, like, when you got married, it sounds like maybe you got married for love, because you didn't really answer the question. Like, were you aligned when it came to the money? You don't have to give too many details.
We probably were not aligned.
Okay.
We both were growing in our careers.
Okay.
So it was early on.
Yeah.
He was making more money than I was.
Right.
But we were contributing equally to the family pot.
50-50.
Yeah. And they say that based on the salaries, like if you're making 75 and your partner is making 250, you both shouldn't be putting in 50-50.
I agree. And not to make it so gender specific, but just because I'm a little bit old school, I do think a man should be leading in as many ways as possible.
Including financially?
Yeah, I don't mind it. I feel like we women are created to carry different loads, and the load and the burden of being the provider, I just don't feel like holistically that is something we are supposed to carry. We are nurturers, we manage households, we get different flows. I've actually noticed that women who lead in that capacity, sometimes their husbands don't work if they are married. Sometimes they're single. Like, they become like almost hyper masculine in the relationship because it requires that. And I think it creates an imbalance. And it's also like your personal desire. Like, what do you want? I like to be taken care of. I also work full time, but my man works really hard too, right? And so I want to feel safe and secure, and I don't want to feel like it's a requirement. A very perfect example, when Rodney and I got married, he always managed, we don't have our home yet, but paying the rent, that was just his own thing. We have 2 small children, we have a nanny, we have a lot of other things. At this point, we just kind of split things 50-50, and I make a good salary, he makes a great, he actually still makes a lot more than me with all his overtime, but because we have a shared goal, and 50-50, you know, give or take, right? Like, put some nuance. He takes me out to dinner, and
Like, who's paying for it?
Yeah, like,
you both are looking at the check.
We're not doing that, right? We have a joint account. But you know what I mean, for like household things, it made sense, but it wasn't a requirement. I think that if you go into a marriage, you should be very clear about your expectations. Is the expectation...
You mean financially?
Financially, because I think a lot of the issues are the unsaid expectations, right? If you expect your husband or wife to do X, Y, and Z. If a man says, okay, well, I'm happy to be the breadwinner, but I thought you were going to manage the household. And his wife is like, no, baby, I'm like an entrepreneur. Like, we're going to hire a cleaner. It's like, I don't want to pay for a cleaner. I've actually heard these conversations. Like, I don't think we should be paying for a cleaner. I think, you know, I make enough where you can do that. So there's a lot to it. Lifestyle expectations. And then things happen, right? Like, people get laid off, you know, folks have different understandings of stewardship. Credit scores is a perfect example, right? How are you managing your money before we got together? How are you managing your money now? Do you believe in paying your bills on time?
Are those questions that you asked before you got married?
No. And that has been probably one of the areas we've worked the hardest at in our marriage. And thankfully, with the help of, you know, prayer, a therapist, and lots of honest conversations, we've gotten to a better place, and we actually have a system. But looking back, I absolutely wish that I asked those questions and had a better understanding of his relationship with money, because it's very emotional. I was very open because I was in a deep rebuilding phase, so I was financially hungry to, you know, be literate, but I didn't know so much about how he was managing things, and I didn't realize how tender it could be. So it's been a journey.
It's a touchy subject, and it creeps into other areas of your relationship when the money part is not working right.
Exactly. And so, honestly, we're not the only ones who have opinions about this. We probably could go on like all day. I have come across very interesting conversations all over social media, especially TikTok, where folks are talking about exactly what we're saying, like, can he keep up with my lifestyle and vice versa? So we have a couple of those clips. I want us to react to them and kind of get a feel for what teams we are, what camps we go with.
Okay,
so that's going to be coming up
it.
next. We'll move into watching a few of these viral clips and give our personal commentary and kind of see if you and I align with the narrative that's being spun. So that's coming up next. All right, so we are back, and we're going to react to a couple of clips. I don't know if you've seen them before. You might have, you know, seen them floating on social media, but these are good. So let's see the first one.
If a man came along, let's say y'all both make $500K a year. He's making $70K. He got a business plan. He got a vision. He's working towards that day in and day out. And you would have to look up at him on all the intangible. Does he get a chance?
No. I would rather be single. This is the thing.
Why?
Let me tell you why. I have gotten to a certain point because I've built to a certain point. I am disciplined in everything. I'm disciplined in relationship with God, in my emotions, in my mentality, in my energy, in my body, and how I eat. I am very disciplined. And so I would expect that a man is the same thing. Because when you're disciplined, whatever you do the most is what compounds in your life. Why would I not give a shot to a person that makes $70,000 a year? I could put you on. Hell, I could even hire you. Come on, let's work together. We could do all of that. But as far as my man, because this is the thing, I refuse to give into a life where I start to feel like I can't have it all.
That's
I
where
don't
the
believe that.
insatiableness and the gluttony, because if you already have it all, why do you
Exactly.
need a man to give you more? Like, that's the part of the conversation that I just cannot fully understand.
And maybe
it's not love that they want.
Maybe
It's not.
Let me finish. Hold on, let me
Why
finish.
does money have to be null and void of love?
I think it's because
you already
y'all
got
keep
money.
going to
You
money.
already-
Like,
yeah, you already got money.
y'all don't really chime on like the other intangibles as
But that's
much.
not I
It's
don't-
mostly about
because
the
for
money.
me, but that's other tangibles. It's whole. It's all of it. If you're missing one, you can't rank one
It's
on
not
the scale
missing,
of 1 to
though.
10. In my lifestyle, in people that I know, I don't really know any people that make $70,000
Well, I
a
know.
year.
What about a high school teacher who loves the kids in his community, who's not on that money
Mike,
shit? He
that's
wants
not
to
what
serve.
I'm talking about. I'm talking about the people that I am around on a daily basis, the people that I call on my phone. It's different. So I will say my vantage point for what success looks like monetarily speaking is exponentially different than most people. I understand that. And I'm not here to wrong or shame the person that makes $70,000, because the truth is every single person deserves love. But like Tasia said, that's not going to happen with me, because I live in a space where I want to follow the leadership of my man. I want my man to make the decisions inside of my household. It's not about a dollar amount. It's not, oh,
It
okay.
is, though.
No,
Because
it's
he
not.
can lead in other ways.
No.
And with finances,
You've
even
got
if
to
you make
lead
more.
the household. You can, look, money doesn't buy you
lose all this
buy
shit
you
tomorrow.
happiness, but it buys
But here's the thing. I don't want to stress you out by trying to keep up with my lifestyle that I already have and am accustomed to. Why? Because if I'm going to these restaurants just for lunch meetings and it takes you your whole check to take me there, I don't want to stress you out. You cannot hang with me. You are still wanting a vacation for the weekend. I vacation and go on holiday for the month. We are not going to be able to make this work.
Yo, that was
My husband
crazy,
pays all the
right?
bills.
That was heavy.
Okay,
Thank
I
God.
don't even know where to start. I'll
So
let you go.
So love does cost a thing. You know, love don't cost no, but really, I mean, do you want to react first? Because I have like several points, especially to the first
You
clip.
first.
Okay, so to Lisa Ray, let me just go backwards. I actually can rock with what she's saying, because it's not just about money. It's lifestyles all encompassing. She is a celebrity, so her entire life looks very different from the average person.
So she can't date the postman.
Right. Like, I think I mean, she probably could, but she would have to sort of adjust her standards or expectations around what a good time is, or be willing to, like, pay for the good
But
time.
do you feel like a lot of women miss out on love because they're looking in a man's wallet instead of looking at the values of the man?
I think that's a piece of it, but I think women feel safe when they can be taken care of. And I think every woman has
But if you got your own money...
I mean, I think, like, there is value in knowing that he can take care of you. It's not that you need him as much, but can he take care of you? However, I think as you mature, like, your desire for being taken care of looks very different. Now, that brings me to our next homegirl, who was like, I don't know nobody who makes $70,000 a year, like, from my vantage point. I mean, and she mentioned her discipline. What I will say about that is, if she was to meet someone who had all the same discipline and just needed an opportunity, right? That man, that's all he needed. He absolutely can complement her. And I think people forget about what complementary characteristics look like, right, within a relationship.
My husband pays all the bills. Thank God. So his check literally covers everything. My check is something that we use for investments, we use for savings, and we use to pay off debt. But if for any reason I don't work for the next 20 years, we'll be fine, because he makes enough to cover all of our expenses. But I like to still work. I like that I have income. And to be honest, your girl has student loan debts. I've got debt. So I'm glad that my check is able to pay towards both him and I's debt.
Sounds like you.
So they
Joint accounts or separate accounts?
They sound like they have a balanced system, right? So she's like, he makes more than me, he can take care of us, but I like making my money, and I'm investing my money not to just pay down my own debt, but she said he has debt too.
Yeah.
So it sounds like they have a system that complements each other, and she likes feeling safe that her man can, but she also likes having her own. let me ask you a question. If the roles were reversed, like, I just don't think if a woman said, I have enough to take care of me and my man, but he has just enough to pay the bills, invest, and pay down our debt, I just feel like the reaction would be totally different.
Well, it's always different when the shoe is on the other foot.
No, I think it has a lot to do with, like, this men and women dynamic, like this expectation.
Well, I mean, you got to look at it like this. Most black women are doing much better than black men. So the chances are of you finding somebody that meets you financially where you are probably isn't that great.
They're going to eat you up in the comments for saying that. All
Really?
of the Kevin Samuel followers.
Listen, you know, I mean, black women, we make more money than our men. Like, traditionally, we just do. We are homeowners. Like, most black women that I know, they would rather have someone that could fix a leaky faucet than to bring them some trinkets. You know, like...
I think that's fair, and I think that's cultural because there's been a lot of pressure, and it goes back to the pressure and burden and having to lead, having to wear both hats, right, and having to be sustained.
Yeah, but it must be nice to have someone just pay all your bills and you never have to worry.
Baby, that sounds great to me.
Yeah.
All right, we got one more we're going to react
let's
to.
do it.
Joint accounts or separate accounts?
That's a great question. Joint accounts with the exception of strategic separate accounts. What I mean by strategic separate accounts. Number one, the separate accounts are not hidden accounts. They're not secret accounts. They are accounts that are separate for a reason. For instance, it could be, I have my own business account. My wife is one of the top Mary Kay consultants in the country. She has her own business account. We don't hide that from one another. But that's her business money. This is my business money. And I don't have to consult with her as much on that money as I do what goes into the joint account, and the same with her. However, she can look at it, she can ask me about it, and I still feel accountable to her.
Okay, see, I like this one. This is actually in alignment with how my husband and I do things. So I have my personal checking and savings account. He has his personal checkings account. Then we have a joint account. Now, in fairness, only his money goes into the joint account. I just kind of monitor it, and I transfer the money that I need to pay some of our bills.
Okay.
And then we have 2 high-yield savings accounts. I have one that I had before him, but I added him on, and I actually only have access to it. However, I keep him up to date on all of the money that's going there. It's where the bulk of our money lives. And then our second high yield savings account, we're both on there. And so that one we have sinking funds where we have buckets for. I know, I'm a little, I mean, it's 5. But I say all that to say, right, it was because that was a challenge in our marriage. So creating accountability and transparency, I wanted to let him know, as diligent and disciplined as I am, he can trust me. Everything is available for him to review at any time, but I need you to be having your money go where I can see it to make sure, you know, we are where we need to be.
So what kind of purchases do you guys have to check in with each other on?
That's a really good question. So large purchases, we use our credit card that he's actually an authorized user on. And it's also an opportunity just to, like, build credit and all of those things since he's doing a really big credit repair.
But do you check in? Do you say, hey, I saw this?
Yes. Like I said, oh, I saw you spent like $250 on.
Oh, you are
at
checking
Amazon.
him. He's not checking you.
I run our bill. Like I am in control of that graciously. He has relinquished control to me. So yes, I do the auditing, right? Sometimes he'll proactively let me know, like, I have a few things coming up, but usually I see it on the back
So
end.
he's asking you permission.
Not permission. He would never love that.
What's the
No.
word?
It is a check-in. Hey, are we good for that? Hey, this is coming up. Like, and I'll say, yeah, let me sort or hold on this or use this card. So, you know. So anyway.
Yeah, I get the idea of joint accounts. You definitely need to have a joint account, but I'm also from the school of you need to have a secret stash.
Yes. This conversation was just hitting home. So thank you, CJ. I just feel like I needed this. It was a little bit of therapy. And for those who were listening in, thank you for joining in on this Guap topic on the Guapify podcast. Please join our community on the Mighty Network. Go on Mighty Network, join the Guapify community. Follow us on TikTok and Instagram
And we're on Threads now.
Oh, and we're on Threads, so we got a few things to say there. And we'd love to see you in the community.